It was a rainy night when I first felt the weight of a lie I didn't even know existed. My entire life had been a lie. I almost didn't breathe. I couldn't. Not because of the rain pounding against the windows or the shadows crawling across the attic floor, but because the truth staring back at me was more terrifying than anything I could have imagined. I was 22. Living in the house that had been my prison since childhood, surrounded by people who I called family, yet had never treated me as one of them. But that night, everything changed. A dusty envelope, tucked away in the farthest corner of the attic, bore my name in neat handwriting. Something about it made my heart stop. With trembling hands, I opened it. And in that instant, I realized everything I had ever been told was a lie. Everything I had believed about my life, my family, and myself was wrong. I had grown up invisible. I had no idea of the world I had been kept from. I thought my life was modest because of circumstances, but in reality, it had been deliberately controlled. I saw my cousins go to the finest schools, travel abroad, enjoy luxuries I wasn't allowed. I got old hand-me-downs, leftover meals, whispered insults, and the constant reminder that I was not one of them. "You're adopted," my uncle would say, over and over, as if repeating it enough would make me accept it. And I did. I swallowed the words, hid my tears, earned to survive in a family that treated me like I didn't exist. Birthdays, holidays, achievements, everything was a reminder that I was unwanted. While my cousins traveled abroad, took dance lessons, and learned foreign languages, I stayed home. While they dined in luxury, I ate in silence. Every day was a quiet lesson in humility, in knowing my place. I thought that was my life. That was all I would ever have. Until that night. The envelope contained dozens of documents. Birth certificates, property deeds, letters, all official and meticulously preserved. My hands shook as I sifted through them. I learned the horrifying truth. My parents weren't ordinary people. They were wealthy, powerful, and respected. They had owned businesses across continents, investing in properties that could generate millions, and built a legacy that was beyond my wildest imagination. And then I saw what hit me. They hadn't abandoned me because they didn't care. They had died in a tragic motor accident when I was just 1 year old. I had never known them. My only surviving relative, my father's elder brother, had taken me in. But instead of telling me the truth, he had hidden everything. "Adopted," he had said. "You have no claim here." I felt my stomach drop. Everything my uncle had built around me, the lies, the favoritism, the neglect, was calculated. I had been erased from my own family, a shadow in the home that was mine by birthright. Every memory of childhood, the humiliations, exclusions, whispered insults, now had a chilling explanation. My cousins, the ones who had received all the love, all the attention, all the privileges, were living off my inheritance. My uncle had lied, manipulated, and stolen what was mine from the start. I didn't act immediately. The idea of confronting them without preparation could be dangerous. I had to confirm everything, gather proof, and understand the full extent of my inheritance. Over weeks, I contacted lawyers, accountants, and family friends. Each conversation confirmed what the documents had already told me. Every discovery added fuel to my anger and sharpened my resolve. I learned the full extent of my parents' fortune, multiple estates, international investments, bank accounts, and assets. My uncle had hidden it all from me, ensuring that my cousins would grow up believing they were the rightful heirs. I realized something else. I had been trained to stay silent, to accept my fate, to believe the lie. But now I held the truth, and the truth was more powerful than anything my uncle had ever imagined. Each day of investigation added layers of suspense. I had to meet contact secretly, avoid being seen by the very people who had stolen my life, and uncover records that were deliberately obscured. Every phone call, every visit to a lawyer, made me feel like I was walking a tightrope. One wrong move, and I could lose everything or alert my uncle too soon. Then came the final piece of evidence, a signed will from my father, notarized and sealed, explicitly naming me as the sole heir to the entire fortune. I could barely breathe as I held it. My heart pounded. All the humiliations, the exclusion, the whispered insults, it had all been a lie. I realized that I wasn't powerless, I was just kept in the dark. My uncle's lies had given him temporary control, but now the truth was in my hands. "You've underestimated me too long," I whispered to myself, a cold fire igniting within me.
I planned my confrontation carefully. I invited my uncle and cousins to a family meeting under the guise of discussing mundane matters. They had no idea what was coming. I laid out the documents, explaining each one calmly but firmly. "You've told me my entire life that I was adopted," I said, my voice steady, "that I didn't belong here, that I had no claim to anything. But these documents tell a different story. I am your nephew, the only child of my parents, and I am the rightful heir to everything they owned." The room went silent. My uncle's face drained of color. My cousins' mouths opened and closed, unable to form words. "Everything you gave them, every privilege you denied me, it ends today." The aftermath was both thrilling and surreal. Lawyers confirmed my claim. The estate, once controlled by my uncle, was now mine by right. My cousins were shocked, unsure how to react. They had grown up believing they had inherited what was mine, and now the tables had turned. My uncle tried to protest, tried to spin lies, but the documents were undeniable. The truth had finally been revealed. I didn't seek revenge through cruelty or malice. I claimed my inheritance, my identity, and my rightful place. I took back everything they had taken from me. The shame, the guilt, the shock, that belonged to them. Sitting in the house that had once been a gilded prison, I reflected on everything. I had been robbed of a childhood, of love, of acknowledgement, but I had gained something stronger: truth and justice. It wasn't just about money, it was about being seen, being recognized for who I truly am. I had survived deception, betrayal, and exclusion. I had discovered the truth, and I had emerged stronger than anyone could have imagined. Forgiveness takes time, and truthfully, I haven't found it yet. The wounds cut too deep, and the betrayal still lingers in every corner of my mind. How do you forgive people who treated you like you were nothing while living on what was rightfully yours? How do you erase years of lies with a single stroke of truth? The lawyers may have restored my inheritance, but they couldn't restore trust. My cousins avoid my eyes when we meet, their silence heavy with guilt, or perhaps resentment. My uncle, stripped of his schemes, tries to appear unbothered, but I see the bitterness etched across his face. They lost, and I won. Yet somehow, victory doesn't erase the scars. I got my revenge through justice, but forgiveness? That is a mountain I haven't climbed. Maybe I never will. Perhaps forgiveness isn't owed where betrayal was deliberate. Perhaps it takes more time, or perhaps it never comes at all. For anyone out there who has felt powerless, invisible, or betrayed by those who should have loved you, remember this: the truth has a way of revealing itself, and when it does, your strength will shine through. What would you have done if you discovered the truth about your family like this? Would you forgive? Would you claim what's rightfully yours? Comment below and stay tuned for more real-life stories.